Aye, kuwe kuwa madue.
Aye, kuwe kuwa madue.
Aye, kuwe kuwa madue.
Aye, kuwe kuwa madue.
How you doing today, sir?
Fine, Brother Spencer. Everything's good, man.
Good, good.
Yeah.
Well, I just want to say thank you and welcome to our Oral History Project with the Brotherhood of Elders Network.
Okay.
Very pleased to have you and get to speak with you today. And
Sir.
we just want to really get down and break down, some of your history and some of the wisdom and things you've learned over the years and those experiences. So
Yes, sir.
It's gonna be the focus for today.
Okay. It's all good, man.
Yep. So to start, could I first have you state your name, please?
Yeah, my name is Ron Shaw.
Ron Shaw.
Yes, sir.
Excellent. And Ron, where did you grow up?
Born and raised in Gary, Indiana, man.
Gary, Indiana.
Yeah. Very, very nice neighborhood. Self-contained. It's when you knew where the black people lived.
Mm.
When the time I was growing up, black people lived in Midtown.
Midtown, okay.
And my particular experience was very, very positive, man, because literally our neighborhood was self-contained. The local doctor was down the street, pharmacy, the cleaners, pool room, library, wash house, restaurant, corner store, and our high school. So we can go, well, I could go from 8 blocks east from Broadway to Harrison on 25th Avenue, and every entity that I just mentioned was self-contained right there on 25th Avenue, man.
All right,
So, man, I was just totally blessed, man, to grow up in that particular neighborhood and during that particular time, too.
That's good. So is it from like a big family or is it just
No,
just
it's a
felt like
family
that?
of 5. I'm the oldest of 3.
Okay.
I'm the big brother to 2 younger sisters.
Okay.
And yeah, but I'm the little brother to a bunch of the brothers in the community, man, because they helped raise me well as my family. So I have a serious extended family from my immediate neighborhood.
Wow.
Yeah.
And just as you're growing up, what was something or someone that had a big impact or influence on your life as you're coming up?
I'm gonna say my family and my community, man. Yeah, because family first and foremost, stressed education, stressed at that particular time, Negro pride. I'm a child of the 50s, and this is before we were black or African American. But my family always was very, very consistent about making sure that we stayed proud as Negroes at the time. And that translated into my elementary school, my middle school, and my high school. Had a principal when I was in elementary school. By the second week when I was in kindergarten, I knew all 3 verses of the Negro National Anthem.
Oh, wow. Yeah,
And
really
it was
young.
like, hey, man, this is what is expected of you as a young person, Get your grades, be proud of where you're from, and be proud of your history. So I'm more than grateful, and that set this stage for me, man. Not only my parents, but a bunch of brothers and sisters in the neighborhood, man, that really, really embraced me and got me to be proud of being a black person, man.
I hear that. That's
Which is carried on to this day.
excellent. Well, that's really happy to hear that.
Yeah.
And just having that kind of strong background of having this black pride and having a very tight-knit community, I guess were there other things that influenced you? Like was sports a big part of your life when you were younger?
Oh man, I'm from Indiana, brother, so that's basketball and that's Hoosier hysteria. People really do go crazy. But yeah, man, I was very fortunate, man, that my neighborhood produced some of the best high school basketball players over a span of about 20 years before I got there, man.
Wow.
So all these dudes were my idols. As I got older, I got a chance to play against them and with them. And, football is king in Texas But in Indiana, man, it's basketball. You know, as soon as you start walking, we start hooping. No matter what the season is, if it was wintertime, shovel the snow and get out there. But yeah, man, basketball was my serious passion, man, really from the time I got to elementary school. Because I had a bunch of brothers literally that lived within a 3-block radius that were some of the biggest high school names in the city, man, some in the state.
Wow.
So I got a chance to interact with these dudes when I was little, man, and it's like, nah, man, I want to play ball, man. You know, so yeah, basketball was very, and still is very big in my life, man.
I hear that. And just having that experience of it's being from a community where you've had so much talent come out and had that experience of being around them, getting to play with them. Did that translate over as you got older too, in terms of whether it's you maybe playing out of state or maybe going someplace to play like that? How did that impact you?
Well, being able to play ball in Gary, Indiana will allow you to play any place in the world, man.
Wow, okay.
Them brothers prepared me for so much stuff, man, and as I did my travels and stuff, I ended up playing for the University of Rochester.
Okay.
And so playing ball up there was like, it was easy, man, because it was so hard at home. The competition was so stiff and the expectations were really high, and I had a lot of self-expectations too. But the training that I got as far as basketball in Indiana had a big part on me, and then subsequently becoming a coach. All the things that I learned from my coaches and the brothers that I played against and the dudes that were my mentors, I was able to share that with a younger generation. So yeah, man, I still love playing ball, man. Can't jump as high and not as fast, but still got a good half hour in me, and then I go home, man.
I hear that. No, I hear that. That's excellent. Were there any coaches in particular or players that just really had an impact on you or stood out to you?
Yeah, I have, to this day, man, I have 2 coaches that just it shaped the way I am. The first coach I had, in Indiana, they have this thing called biddy basketball, which is subsequent to Little League baseball.
Okay.
So you play biddy from 8 years old all the way up to 12. My first biddy coach was named Mr. Marion Smalls. And we practiced every day, but the first 45 minutes of practicing was conditioning. We didn't pick up a basketball. We had to run or do drills for 45 minutes, okay, and then we started playing ball. So that got my endurance together, and that skill level of doing different drills. And then the next major coach that had a big influence was my 7th grade coach, rest in peace, Ulysses Henderson. He was one of the first black football players in the Big Ten in the 40s.
Wow.
And I share this story because the impact that he had on me was a direct result of the impact of him playing football at Indiana University, as I said. He played during the 40s, and he was one of the greatest punters in the United States, man, as a black dude. But he told me the story, man, that when he was time to come in and punt, the other team, as they would rush him, they would say, "Get that nigga's knees," to mess him up.
Yeah.
But Coach Henderson got hip to it, and he had one of the quickest releases in terms of getting that ball off the punt. And in his 50s, man, he was still booming stuff, he'd show us. But anyway, it was mandatory to play for Coach Henderson that you had to use both hands. I wasn't good with my left hand at first, okay? So we're going through the drills. I'm having a hard time going through the drills. So finally he said, well, Shaw, which they called me, he said, Shaw, come over here. So he gave me a basketball, and he stood me up against the wall. And he said, I want you to just work on this until I come back and get you. Well, homeboy came back 15 minutes later to come get me. So I'm using my left hand, using my left hand, using my left hand. And I built it up enough that when it was time to do the left hand drill, I was ready. And subsequently, if I'm in different situations, I can use both hands.
Nice.
And I never forgot that, because instead of him talking crazy and putting me out the line, he pulled me to the side and said, Shaw, just work on this. I know your left hand's kind of weak right now, but keep working on it. It's going to get better and better and better. And from that point on, man, the next day I do my left hand, right hand drills. And if a situation comes up that I use my left hand, it's second nature, man.
That's great.
But the time that he took with me, man, really, it impacted me the rest of my life, man. I went to visit Coach Henderson, again, rest in peace, another brother, 10 years ago when I went back home. And he had lost both of his legs due to diabetes. But he was the national over 60 wheelchair ping pong player in the country, man.
Wow.
Homeboy had all his medals on the wall and stuff, man. And when I went to go visit him, I was coaching at the time. So Coach Henderson would always call me Ronald Shaw instead of Shaw. You know, that's your school name. Ronald Shaw, how you doing in California? I said, Coach, I'm coaching now. He goes, are you stressing discipline? I said, yes, Coach, I'm stretching discipline. I said, also, I got something else for you, Coach. He said, what's that, Shaw? He said, if you are fundamentally sound, you will be able to participate in any endeavor. That was the mantra that he gave us when we were in the 7th grade. And that's the mantra that I gave the kids that I coached. And I ran it back to him, man. He just started beaming, man. Because I said, Coach, you know, if you're fundamentally sound, and he finished the rest of the sentence. But those two coaches had a big influence on me, man, in terms of conditioning and also patience and teaching. You know, so I'm indebted to both of those dudes, man. And that set the tone for me the rest of my basketball career. You know, being in shape and being attentive and being fundamentally sound.
That's good. So would you say those people influenced you just becoming a coach in general? Is that something you wanted to do, or you just kind of got into it?
I just liked the game, man. And then an opportunity came up with another gentleman from Indiana. He was from Muncie, Indiana, and was coaching one of the local teams. And he asked me that if he wanted me to be his assistant. I said, well, you know, man, I got to wait because my number 2 son was playing locally. And I said, I got to wait till he graduates before I start coaching because they were rival schools. So I said, no, I can't coach against my son, you know, so when he graduates, come back and get me. And he came back and got me, and I coached for Kennedy High School in Richmond. Okay. Assistant varsity coach and JV coach.
Got it. Okay.
So I had those brothers for a while, and that was a good experience for me in order to share some of the stuff, as I said, that Coach Smalls and Coach Henderson shared with me. The discipline aspect was the biggest thing for me, though, because a lot of those brothers that I had at that particular time, they thought they were going straight to the pros. And I had to share with them. I say, man, I'm 40 years old, man. You can't get past me. How you going to the pros, bruh? So let's work on this, let's work on that. And I had a mandatory study hall before practice. Mandatory 2.5 GPA, and we check grades every week, man. So again, taking stuff from coaches that made sure I was cool, and I just imparted that with the brothers that I came in contact to. You know.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So did basketball bring you to the Bay Area, or was it something else?
No, I went from University of Rochester back home to Gary for a minute, and then to Los Angeles. Okay. My first child was born, and my wife didn't like Gary. We were in Gary for a minute, but she had people in Los Angeles, and I had people in Compton and in Long Beach. Okay. So I'd been down there before I knew the area. I said, yeah, I could stay in Los Angeles for a year, and that was 1975, man. So I spent 8 years in Los Angeles and then moved to the Bay Area. And I've been in the Bay Area since 1983. Okay. Yeah.
What part of the Bay did you move to?
Started off in Berkeley.
Okay.
And ended up in Richmond. Yeah. So I've been in Richmond 27, 28 years now in Richmond. Oh. Yeah. Wow.
And just given your experiences so far, what would be some advice you would give to your younger self?
Save your money, man.
Save your money.
Don't blow it. I didn't have any kind of financial education during that particular time. So as I look back now, that would be the biggest thing, save your money,
Okay.
just because I'm catching up now as an old man. But just looking back, there was no financial literacy or anything at that particular point. It was like, make your money, pay your bills, buy what you want to buy, but not looking forward to the future or having a stash, a big enough stash, But that would be the biggest thing I would tell my younger self.
Gotcha. Okay. Now, living in these different areas from Gary, Indiana, living in Los Angeles, having friends, family throughout LA, and then come over to the Bay, there's a lot of different experiences kind of from each different place, going
Yes,
from like
sir.
a really tight-knit community to, especially LA, as well known for, whether it's dealing with gangs or everything else, but very much specific communities that, have either grown up together or have been torn apart from gentrification or all these other different factors. And I'm curious, in your opinion, what would you say would be like maybe the top 3 things that have been the most harmful, you think, in the Black community?
I think the first thing, Brother Spencer, for me would be us not loving each other enough, man, or caring about ourselves enough. That's a real big problem that I see, that self-hatred and just falling into the status quo of not progressing. And that's one of the things. The second thing is not being serious enough about addressing the issues that are really impacting us. We've kind of fallen into, well, this is how it is. And I think it's just a small percentage of us that are really, really fighting to overturn this status quo that has kept us locked down for so long, man. And so that would be number 2. And number 3, I think just the systemic racism of the history of this country, man, and how it's impacted every area of our lives, man. And so going back to the first and second thing, we just haven't, in my opinion, haven't adapted hard enough, man, to get this stuff off of us, man. And we going since 1619, man, and it's just, those are the 3 areas that I would hope that we need to address and work on a little bit more, man.
Do you see, or have you thought about, I guess, any solutions to the problems you're just mentioning, like loving yourself more, having self-love, and as you mentioned, and just kind of not falling into a lot of these other, I guess, traps and things that certainly happen to a lot of us?
I think an area that we can improve on ourselves, man, is knowing our history a little bit more, or in terms of the contributions that we've made as human beings on this planet, let alone Africans in this continent. I think that our young people in our community at large just needs to know a little bit more about and take pride in what we've accomplished in spite of, man. Every time I'm in contact with a group of young people, I try to throw some history at them and then go back and check this out a little bit more. Because you look at this, what happened then, and you can see what's happening now. But if you have no clue of what's happening or what happened previously, of course you're gonna make the same mistakes. But if you don't know, you can't adapt. So I'm always emphasizing know our history a little bit more, man, and know just how capable we are as human beings, man. In spite of whatever kind of madness has been coming at us, we're still here. But I think that if we can do that on a larger scale, that can help us address those other 3 issues that we talked about earlier.
Yeah, that makes sense. What does being Black in America mean to you?
Pride, challenging, and resourceful in those areas. I cannot imagine what our people went through in the Middle Passage, man. And we're the descendants of the people that survived that boat ride, man. You know, so I always let young people know in that part too, man. You know, we survived that boat ride, man. And then got here and faced with just a system that was designed to keep us down and keep us to feel that we're less than human. And we still here, man. You know, and in spite of all the attempts to not keep us human, we still here and still fighting. So, yeah, that's one of the, well, that's three of the things I'm proud of, man. But the resilience is a big thing, man. You know, in spite of this madness.
No, I definitely hear that. I mean, there's been so many issues and consistently coming at us, and that hasn't slowed down, I think, or really stopped in any way, shape, or form.
Oh, no.
It's a lot of adapting.
Yeah.
Very similar to sports, as you mentioned when you were talking about learning how to play with your left hand and getting that stronger and just being able to switch at will.
Yep.
So it seems like for a society, for a black community, we kind of have to have that same mentality in a lot of ways.
We got to, man. We got it in order to better ourselves.
Yeah.
And staying fundamentally sound.
Fundamentally sound. I hear that. Fundamentally sound. That's right. Your coach should be proud.
Man, that applies to life, man.
Yeah.
But and aside to that real quick before we go to the next one, Brother Chris, I was telling, I was going home on a yearly basis to visit family. So the particular year that I was home and saw Coach Henderson, I saw some of my former teammates, you know, hanging out. We hadn't seen each other in a while. I said, man, I'm going to lunch with Coach Henderson tomorrow. So one of my partner goes, if you're fundamentally sound, and then my other partner finished the sentence. I'm like, oh man, he got all of us, man.
Yeah.
And, you know, we're in our 50s, man. You know, but he got all of us, and I shared that with him, and he just started busting up, man. But it was surreal, man. You know, I started off, everybody finished it, but that's the impact that he had on us, man. You know, and not only adapting to basketball, but to life as well. You know, so that's another one of the reasons that Coach Henderson is a big dude on my list, you know. Love that brother, man. Because at that particular time, too, as an aside, I was a little big-headed brother with the glasses. So I was about 4'11", you know, skinny dude with the glasses on and not that big, you know. But that was another reason that I really felt an affinity for Coach Henderson, man, because he didn't care what size I was. He just wanted to make sure I got that left hand, you know, which I did, you know. So, yeah, it's a cool brother, man. Real cool brother.
Definitely sounds like it. And you mentioned earlier when you're talking about your family, you're the oldest sibling.
Yes.
And two younger sisters, and but still pretty tight-knit family. What are some lessons that you may have learned from family, you may have picked up, whether it was aunts, uncles, parents, grandparents?
Well, I definitely learned the importance of education. My paternal grandfather was a woodshop teacher at the local high school. All of my aunts and, well, not all of my aunts and uncles. Out of 5 aunts and uncles, including my mom, 2 of them are college graduates. Both of them have their masters, and both of them got their masters in the 50s as black people.
Wow, that's powerful.
And so that example was set, by my family, man. And it was expected to be the best you could academically, man. And my father read the newspaper every day, which was part of the course for me as well. And also, another big influence was my father purchased the Negro Encyclopedia, History of the Negro Encyclopedia. It's like maybe 15 or 16 volumes, man. And he bought this for me when I was 10 years old, man.
Oh, wow.
And I still got it at the house now, you know. But I had that particular piece too. And also we had the Chicago Defender, which was the black newspaper, and then the local Gary black newspapers too. You know, so I had all that, man, every day, man. some kind of way, but it was expected that we were going to be successful academically, man. You know, from the household to the neighborhood to the schools, man. And I can like to share that with you a little bit further because during that particular time, a lot of black people that had PhDs and masters had to teach at high school.
Yeah.
Because they weren't allowed in different areas and stuff. So the principal of my high school had a PhD in education, man.
Wow.
And he was a high school principal, man. You know, he should have been a college chancellor or something, you know. But that systemic racism kept him in that spot. But for me, man, I relished it, man, because he was part of my neighborhood, man. I delivered papers to him.
Okay.
And he set an example at the high school level that filtered down through junior high and elementary school, man. You know, you have to be responsible for yourself, you have to take care of yourself, and you have to be responsible for your community too. And so that made a big impression on me, man, real big impression. And I've tried to keep that going through my lifetime too, man. And again, it's within those 8 blocks that I told you about that was self-contained, that I saw excellence walking down the street, man. I saw excellence on my block, man. And the expectation was there too, so I couldn't play crazy or act like I didn't know what was going on, man. I was responsible for doing my part to uphold that, you know.
I hear that.
Yeah.
That's right. No, that's powerful, and having that foundation clearly has been able to carry you forward, and then with your family and stuff.
No
as
question,
well.
man. No question. I'm trying to instill it. Well, I have instilled it in my children, my grandchildren, and my extended family. I got thousands of youngsters that I've worked with that I can't claim on my taxes, man. which I wish I could, but no, from LA up to here, man, because I started working in Watts when I got to LA.
Wow.
So I worked there for a minute, and then we moved up here. I worked in Berkeley, so I've been Watts, Berkeley, Richmond, and the greater Bay Area, you know, just in terms of working with our people and stuff, you know. So, yeah, we've been at it for a while, man.
I hear that. And what was that experience like? Did you notice any similarities or differences working in these different areas, working in Watts, working in Berkeley? What was that like?
The only, no, man, it's no difference. It wasn't any difference because I had the same attitude that I was going to do the best I can to educate and uplift the youngsters and the families that I work with, man. Because there's a lot of situations, they didn't get the same, I'm going to say, not the same experience that I did, man. I cannot be thankful enough for that Gary experience, man. So I just tried to take that wherever I went, man. You know, we expect the best of you, do the best you can, and make sure your community is better, man. So no, I've carried that philosophy wherever I've worked in the neighborhood, man. You know, so the only difference, well, the only differences would be the gang activities, of course, down in South Central. But I was very fortunate, man, that I always came in contact with the shot callers. So they knew that when I was in the area, man, I was about business. You know, I wasn't about you live here, I live there.
Right.
And I was able to translate that up into Richmond and Berkeley as well, man, you know, because brothers be claiming stuff, and I would come back out and Brother Spence, I said, yeah, you claiming this area, man, but are you renting or owning? Which one you doing, bro? I'm in Shaw. I said, nah, man, I just asked you, are you renting or owning?
Yeah.
You know, and what impact does that have in terms of not only your community, but how you look at another brother because he lived 5 blocks away from you?
Wow.
Come on, man.
What were those conversations like? Yeah, those.
You know what? When I presented to the brothers at first, Brother Spencer, they'll pause for a minute. And I said, well, check this out, man. You funking with this dude that lives 5 blocks away from you because of what? Oh, man, well, you know, I said, well, what is the real reason that you got to go off on this brother over here? What is happening? But I found out in Richmond, unfortunately, and across the country too, man, it's generational. This is grandfather's funking, man. Come on, man. This 4 and 5 generations, man, of brothers going off on each other, not knowing why.
Wow.
You know. So when I was in Richmond, man, Richmond is very territorial, man.
Yeah.
And I had a central location where I would meet these brothers from all over the areas and stuff. So I said, man, this the Ron Shaw zone right here, bruh. So, and I knew most of them had some pistols too. So I said, man, then the pistols outside. This is Ron Shaw area right here. Only thing you claiming in here is Ron Shaw. You ain't claiming you from here or here from here. This is my area. This is what we claiming. And so subsequently, I used to have the brothers staggered leave, okay? So I said, well, brothers from here, y'all leave. Get totally out the area. Okay, 15 minutes later, you brothers go. 15 minutes later, you brothers go. And I don't want to hear nothing that jumped off within a 10-block radius of where we are right now. Now, when you get to that 11th or 12th block, that's a different story, and I still don't want that to happen.
Right.
But within this Ron Shaw zone, bruh, we brothers, man. You know, we ain't funking because you live here and you live there and stuff. So subsequently, I got the brothers that thinking about that, brothers, man. So I said, man, why you on this dude, man? What happened? Well, this boy, blah, blah, blah. I say, man, come on, man. You just playing into what some other people want you to keep doing, and you doing their work, bruh. You doing their work, man. So let's just think about trying to at least respect each other. You know, we ain't got to love each other right now, but let's respect each other as black people, you know, and then hopefully it'll advance from there and stuff. But I always try to break it down like that, man. You know, why are you doing this madness, man? Why are you trying to hurt this other brother and vice versa? It makes no sense, man. Playing right into it, you know. So I've been successful using that philosophy in a couple of areas. And in a couple of areas, unfortunately, brothers not here with us now. You know, a few of them that I've lost over the years, man, because they just couldn't capture that all the way. That at least respect each other, man. But you ain't got to be funking because somebody live in a different neighborhood than you, you know. So
Yeah.
that's an ongoing thing, though, man. And it goes back to the self-hatred, too.
Right.
You know, we got to get that knocked out, man.
Yeah. It definitely goes back.
Excuse me.
I'm interested, when did you become involved with the Brotherhood of Elders Network?
It's been about, wow, this is my 11th or 12th year now, man. I was sitting in a workshop that Baba Arnold and his wife were doing. I'd never met Arnold Perkins before, man. So it was a 2-day session, and the end of the second day, he goes, you know, brother, would you be interested, and this was one of the first retreats that they had. He invited me to the retreat, man. I had never, you know, been to any of our Saturday meetings yet, but my first experience was at a retreat. I said, yeah, man, it's a number of like-minded brothers, you know, getting together, trying to help young men and boys, black boys in the Bay Area. I said, cool, all right, no problem. So I'm indebted to Baba Arnold, man. But come to find out that Baba Arnold does reconnaissance, man. So he knew about the work I was doing in Richmond. And I felt very worthy, man, that he chose me to join the group, man. And that's an overview of all the brothers in the network right now, man. Very capable brothers that are concerned about black men and the community. And their history has been such, man. I met some brothers in the network before I was in the network through some other things I was doing. Dr. Wade Nobles. I was in Orlando, Florida, man. And I was at a workshop that he did on black families in Oakland. And he and Dr. Lawford Goddard. When I got back to the Bay Area, man, said, man, you might be interested in this program called HAWK Training, High Achievement, Wisdom, and Knowledge. And this was a rites of passage process that Dr. Noble and Dr. Goddard put together. So I came back, man, took the training, became a certified HAWK trainer. And when we first started meeting, an offshoot of the Elders Network, we were meeting brothers in Richmond through their Office of Neighborhood Safety. And Dr. Nobles and I were just talking one time, man. I said, Dr. Nobles, check this out, man. You know I'm HAWK accredited. He goes, man, what are you talking about? I said, man, I'm from the class of such and such. He goes like, oh, man, I can't believe this. I said, man, I've been using your curriculum in the black and brown community. Okay. So fast forward, it was a couple of months later, man, and I was in this thing called the Health Conductors, which was a group of individuals being taught the importance of having a healthy community. Well, come to find out, one of the founding members, Dr. Woody Carter, was one of the people, along with Baba Arnold, that started this Health Conductor thing. And then Brother Jim Hill his agency did the public relations thing for it. And I had never met these brothers. I had met them before, but when I got to the network and saw these brothers, I said, damn, man, these brothers doing something, man. So that's how I got started, man. But it's amazing, man, over these, I guess, 11 plus years, man, that the brothers that I've come in contact with, their experiences in terms of being serious about helping black people, man. That's the foundation for all the brothers that are serious that's in the network right now, man. Because we go back to Brother Cole working down with voter registration down south, man, and we go with Brother Joe Brooks, Republic of New Africa. I go with brothers that was in the Panthers, brothers that was doing a whole lot of stuff, man, trying to make things better for us. And it was really, really crazy, man, when we sit up and talk about the experience, like, damn, man, I read about Brother Joe Brooks in the Republic of New Africa when I was in college, man.
Wow. Yeah.
Which was wild, okay? And some of the things that Brother Cole was doing with the voter registration down south and stuff, man, like, damn, man, I read about them brothers, man, not knowing them. And now I know them. They part of the network, man.
Yeah.
So these some powerful brothers, man, but they've been on it a long time, man, But I always kind of kicked back for a minute and I'm like, damn, man, these brothers is part of history as far as African Americans on this continent, man, seriously. And the impact that they've had is just tremendous, man. So I'm just grateful to be with these brothers, man, and thankful that Brother Arnold saw something in me that he felt that I could hang with him,
I hear that.
Yeah.
No, that's very powerful that just being able to have that experience and have other people that are like-minded that you can count on are all geared towards the same goal overall.
Yeah, literally, man, literally.
Yeah.
But it's a powerful group of brothers, man. Not only Bay area-wide, but nationwide, man. Powerful, powerful brothers, man. So I'm thankful to be a part of them, man. I really am.
I hear that. Was there any committees or anything in particular within the organization or network that you, I guess, geared to you more, or that you were more interested in?
Yeah, I'm part of the Health and Wellness subcommittee, man, along with Brother Quele and other brothers too. Just to make sure, man, that we identify the importance of taking care of ourselves, man. We've done a couple of sessions related to the brain, heart, spirit, eating right, drinking your water, the whole thing and stuff. But just recognizing the importance of spirit as it relates to taking care of yourself and being a little bit more mindful of that. Brother Tony from here did an excellent piece on how the brain works, man, and the impact of systemic racism and how to respond to it and the whole thing and stuff that also I was able to take in other areas that to share with people to let them know what was happening on a bunch of different issues, man. But Health and Wellness Committee has been the biggest one that I've been affiliated with out of the other, I think we've got 5 or 6 other subcommittees. Yeah.
Well, I guess what attracted you to health and wellness? Was it like a personal journey for you that kind of brought you into it more, and just saying like we need to focus on this because maybe family has been, suffering from, I don't know, diabetes, cancer, those type of things that push you in that direction, or were you just kind of naturally already interested in?
Well, I was, stopped alcohol and red meat and a whole bunch on a personal basis years ago. But I also saw the impact that not being aware of what your diet is. And man, I've lost brothers, man, partners that I grew up with before they got 40 years old, man, to diabetes and high blood pressure and a whole bunch of stuff, man, because of what they weren't taking care of themselves. So, once I started my personal journey, man, my thing was, okay, you are what you eat, man. Going back to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad in his book and stuff, man. And you can't be doing all them Slurpees and, fast foods and stuff, man. You got to be able to balance that out. So prior to the official, I would say, convening of the health and wellness, we sat down for a minute and just talked about what we wanted to achieve during that particular time. Giving out the information on the importance of a proper diet and rest and exercise and things of that nature. So it was a personal thing that turned into a committee thing, but also that's one of the biggest things that's harming our community as well, man. Our diets, man, and these food deserts, and it's more McDonald's and Church's Chicken and 7-Elevens, man, than it is some fresh greens and, a salad and stuff, man.
Yeah.
So that's another thing in terms of the health and wellness for me on a personal basis, and also sharing with our young people too, man. I work in the school district as well in West Contra Costa County. And my office is in between the 7-Eleven and one of the local middle schools. So I get a chance to see the kids going to school in the morning, man. Hot Cheetos, 32-ounce Super Gulp. And that's their breakfast, man. You say salad to them, they want to jump on you, or a fresh apple or something, man. But they weren't aware of the repercussions of that consistent diet. And also, and I know on a personal basis, man, that sugar wears off at 11. So from 11:45, they wilding out. They get sent out to class. They get expelled. They miss X number of days, come back, they're behind 2 weeks, don't want to catch up. So that's a cold cycle, man.
Yeah.
Based on, what you have for breakfast.
Yeah.
And how you process that stuff, man. So I've been a big proponent of us eating right and being mindful of it, because you see the results of not doing it, man.
Yeah.
How can you be in the 8th grade and have type 2 diabetes, man? You're not even 15 years old yet, man. Or overweight.
Yeah.
So that health and wellness thing is a real big piece for me, because it's a detriment to our community, man. All this fast food stuff and not having something fresh and just the whole thing, man. So it's a personal, and it's also a community goal for me to get us to start eating a little bit better, man. Because we done past put McDonald's, they trillionaires now because of us, literally.
Yeah, that's good. And I guess the other part of that health and wellness side is, when you briefly mentioned this, is talking about this kind of spiritual aspect of that too, and whether that's just dealing with energy or just dealing, from a more religious perspective. Where do you say, I guess, you, fit in that realm?
I think it's real important, man, because again, you are what you eat, man, which dictates how you think, how you act, and how your spirit is, man. So no, it's real important, man. But if you got a diet that's based on serenity and progress, that's how you're gonna go, man. But if you got a diet that's based on fast food, sugar and salt, and additives, you're gonna be the result of that, man. Literally. And we see the results of it, man.
Yeah.
We see the results. So everything is connected, man. Everything is connected. It's nothing that this doesn't impact this. So, that's my attitude as far as that part is concerned, man. Yeah, it does. It encompasses everything, man.
I know, totally. And we're getting ready to wrap up, but my last question is around advice you give to, you've coached, you have kids, you have grandkids now, as you mentioned too. What is some advice you would like to leave the next generation?
Learn your history. Love yourself. And take care of your people.
Okay, that's 3 right there.
Yeah, those are three things that I think can be very, very impactful, man. And again, those are things that were given to me, man. You know, I did a thing one time, man, called, in talking with some young people, it's called the 3 E's.
3 E's.
Expectation, example, and exposure. Okay? You expect to be the best you can. You set a good example for that expectation, and then you expose our children to how powerful they are.
Wow.
And that's one of the well, not one. That's a topic that's been in my repertoire for a few years, man. You know, I expect you to be great, and I'm gonna try to be the best example that I can, and then I'm gonna expose you to some things too that's gonna help you out. I've been very, very fortunate that all 3 of those things have been a part of my life. And going back to another piece real quick that you talked about that had an influence on me. Back in 1969, I had a chance to visit the Black Topographical Research Center in Chicago, Illinois.
Okay.
One of the first black think tanks. As soon as you walked in, man, Africa, excellence, what our people have responded to and how resilient it was. And I stayed in there, man, for about 2 hours, man. Okay. Later that year, Fred Hampton and Mark Clark were assassinated in Chicago, man.
Yeah.
So Dr. King in '68, Black People Topographical Research Center to get energized in the summertime of '69, and then that winter, Fred Hampton and Mark Clark got killed. That changed my conscience to this day, man.
Wow.
Those 3 events. It really, really did. And I got a chance to see Chairman Fred a couple of times, man. Brother never talked about no violence, man. Never talked about violence. But unfortunately, you know, you see how it turned out, but Chicago police had him, he was on their radar for maybe since he was in high school, man. But after he got assassinated and I found out exactly what jumped off, that turned me on a whole nother realm, man. It really did. I don't know if you're familiar with the story all the way, but you know, they went in and there was a snitch, and he gave him the floor plan, and they went directly in and killed him in his bed, and Mark Clark in another room. But the audacity of the Chicago police, when they did an independent review, they showed 100 shots coming in and 1 coming out. Man. And they said that Chairman Fred and the rest of the people instigated it.
Yeah.
So that took me on another level, man.
Yeah.
You know, in terms of what this system could do and what it will do, you know, in order to try to mess us up, man. So I said, nah, man, I got to fight this some kind of way. And I was still recovering from Dr. King getting assassinated, man. That tripped me out.
Yeah.
But after Chairman Fred and Clark got killed, man, I was like, nah, man, I got to be about this, man. Because it makes no sense for people that are trying to do right to be eliminated because you don't agree with them and stuff, you know. So that's been another one of my quests since then, man, to try to do the best I can to make sure everything's cool for us, you know.
Yeah, very true. Well, Mr. Shaw, thank you so much for your time today. We really appreciate you sharing your history, sharing your knowledge and your wisdom with us.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you for inviting me, man.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it all the way, man.
Is there anything else you'd just like to share with our audience or something that's on your mind?
I'm grateful for the Brotherhood of Elders Network and the work that they're doing. It's very, very important that we have an opportunity to replicate this across the country. Yeah. And I think if we are able to, everybody's going to be better off, man. So I'm thankful for the network. I'm thankful for the brothers in the network, and we just got to keep on, man. You know, the universe dictates that it's not going to be negative all the time.
Right.
So we just got to keep on fighting, and if it's not in our lifetime, our grandchildren and great-grandchildren are able to reap the benefits of being treated as a full human being, on this planet. So,
Absolutely.
yeah, that's one of the things I'd like to leave everybody with, man. But we gonna keep on doing it, man, because they ain't stopped us yet.
Mm-hmm. That's
So
right.
ain't gonna be no stopping. But I have confidence that we're gonna get there.
I hear that.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
How did you become involved in the neighborhood safety program? What was it?
Yeah, well, Devon Bogan, who was the director of Office of Neighborhood Safety, requested that the Brotherhood of Elders come in to serve as some mentors for some of the brothers that they had chosen that were identified as potential shooters within the city of Richmond. So Devon asked the network to come in and kind of mentor these brothers. The first session that we as a membership came with them, we had dinners every Wednesday once a month. We had dinners. So the first encounter, them youngsters cussed us out, man. What's these old dudes doing here, man? We don't need them, blah, 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 blah. So, okay, well, that's cool. So I was kind of the Richmond liaison because I live and work in Richmond. Yeah. By the fourth session, them brothers had embraced the network so cold because we came in there, first of all, letting them know that, we cared about them as human beings, but we exposed them to different things too. We did some trust drills, we did some historical drills that these brothers had no idea about. And by the sixth session, man, they were looking forward to seeing us. We fed them. We had just a fellowship, and also supporting not only the young brothers that were part of the cohorts, but supporting the staff of the Office of Neighborhood Safety too, because they needed some direction and some, I think, some validation and support. And a lot of brothers that's in the network now, they professionals, they're very, very accomplished, but all of them are neighborhood brothers, man.
Yeah.
So there ain't too many things that have jumped off in the neighborhood that these brothers ain't experienced either.
Yeah.
So the youngsters thought that they was coming at us as the old dudes and something. Nah, man, that ain't new, bruh.
Yeah, been there, done that, right?
literally. But let's try to do you in this direction. But
Right.
it turned out so positive, man. We also included the art of being a black man as part of their curriculum from the network.
Excellent.
I want to throw that in too. So yeah, Brother Jason and Brother Dean and a couple other brothers went in with workshops with the art of being a black man. But consequently, we had their first cohort, man. It turned out successful, man. There's a couple of brothers out of that cohort that are still working now. They went on to go to college and be successful.
Oh, good for them.
Yeah, but I think, like I said, the first couple of sessions, man, they cussed us out, man. We was all kind of old, we ain't listening to y'all and this kind of stuff too. But when they saw how genuine we were, it's like, hey, man, these some cool old dudes, man. And plus they care about us, So subsequently it was a real big growth and development between that particular relationship. Also, one of the staff people that was part of the Office of Neighborhood Safety, the network helped funded him with his startup hot dog stand. And homeboy turned out from that one little seed money, got 3 different stands now, and he's doing his own thing and stuff. But that was, again, a result of his relationship with the network.
Wow.
So we impacted their staff and the young people that we work with too. Yeah. So that was one of the first big neighborhood things that we actually did. But I was very, very thankful that Office of Neighborhood Safety started in Richmond, and that's where I work, man. So I worked with their staff. I worked with Devon. I worked with the youngsters in the cohorts as well, and I'd work with some of their family members too. So they already knew about what I brought to the table, in terms of being genuine. and also making sure that we could do the best for them. But we had a big impact on those brothers, man. You know, and I'm very, very thankful for it too. And the brothers got a lot out of it too. You know, it was a mutual thing, man. It really was mutual. And they developed some lifelong relationships with those brothers, man. You know, so yeah, that's how we got started, and that's how it developed, and very, very positive working relationship between the network and Office of Neighborhood Safety in Richmond.
Interesting. And I'm just curious, one of the things you mentioned of just how they initially received you versus 6 classes or courses in. What were some, I guess, of the icebreakers, I guess, that got through the initial kind of defense?
Well, we had an exercise that Brother Jim Hill brought out, and I think it was like a hot potato, you know, real quick and stuff. But the thing about it is, we were faster than the young brothers to start off with in terms of the process. So they're like, damn, man, these old dudes is blah, 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 blah. And then they honed in on different things. And then when they initially were able to master it, it's like, oh, man, you know why? And then Brother Jim Hill would come in and say, well, this is like working together. And this is an example of this, and this is an example of this, blah, blah, blah. And then Dr. Nobles came in, man, and he did a powerful, powerful piece on words and how it impacts us and how we use words to either tear us down or build us up, or words that were thrown at us as black people that was supposed to be demeaning and that kind of stuff too. And then brothers left that session, man, it's like, wow, man. First of all, I didn't know about that. And second of all, I need to think about how I talk and how I speak to black people. You know, how I relate to it. Instead, everybody ain't one of them.
Right.
And where one of them originated from, and it didn't originate from us. So those were 2 real powerful things that turned them brothers around, man. But yeah, you talk to Jim Hill about that activity, and he'll say he saw a turnaround on those brothers at that point too. And then Dr. Nobles came there with that knowledge for them, man, and practical knowledge too. You know, everyday stuff that they weren't aware of, that they were kind of perpetrating stuff, you know. But he brought it to their attention, man. It was like, oh man, I never looked at it like that. So yeah, man, come on, man, you know. But Dr. Nobles is so smooth with his stuff, you know. He made it practical, and he also made the brothers go read some more stuff or go check some more stuff out to see exactly how this is an impact on you and how you can make it better and stuff too, you know. So yeah, those are 2 big things that I remember, man, that it was like, wow, man, these brothers came back. And then a couple of times when we had to postpone and do something else, oh, what happened to them brothers, you know, because I was still in Richmond all the time, and I would still be in contact with them. Oh man, well, we had to just cancel this one, but we'll be back on this one, and you know, the support will be back, man. But yeah, they really look forward to us being there on those Wednesdays, man. And the food was good. The sister that was our caterer was always knocked it out, man. So we had good fellowship, good food, and good knowledge.
Excellent.
Yeah, and it also brought in some other brothers in the Richmond area that worked with young people too. We had some clergy there, and also some other community people that got a chance to see what was happening. But the cold part about it, Brother Spence, on that piece, not only the impact that the network had on ONS, but the impact that ONS had on violence reduction in the city of Richmond, man.
Yeah.
They did an excellent job, man, because, you know, Richmond was kind of wild for a while, man.
Yeah.
But they came in there, and they cut the gun violence down to a little, and then I think it's maybe about 3 or 4 years ago now, man, that Richmond had the lowest homicide rate that they had in like 50-something years, man. Yeah. And people was trying to say it was the police, and I'll say, nah, man, it's Office of Neighborhood Safety. Yeah. Them brothers and sisters out there on the front line, addressing these issues and helping these brothers and sisters out, man. You know, so yeah, it was something I'm very proud of to be a part of, man. You know, because I know that we went in there and gave them brothers some knowledge, man, and also some purpose too. You know, so man, you see these old dudes have made some contributions, man.
Yeah.
And the fact that they've come to spend their time with you and give some of that knowledge, you know, just soak it up, man. You know, soak it up, man. Because these brothers are accomplished in all areas. You know, they really are. But the fact that we let them know that we cared about them helped along the lines too.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so very, very proud of that collaboration, man.
Excellent.
Very proud.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, thank you for sharing that. I
Oh
really
yeah,
appreciate it.
no, that's all good. I'm glad Brother Cole brought it up, man. Yeah, because that's a big check mark that we could put off as what the network was able to do to impact some stuff, man. You know, so, yeah, that was a cold time, man. You know, we had a good time with them brothers. Had a real good time with them.
I hear that.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, thank you.